returning councillors. I would like to invite Reverend Stephen Bate to give a brief welcome. Stephen.
Thank you. So I'd like to begin with a short passage from the Bible. It's from St. Paul's letter to the Romans, and it's a message originally written to a church community. For by the grace given me, I say to every one of you, do not think of yourself more highly than you ought, but rather think of yourself with sober judgment, in accordance with the faith God has distributed to each of you. For just as each of us has one body with many members, and these members do not have all the same function, so in Christ, we, though many, form one body, and each member belongs to all the others. We have different gifts, according to the grace given to each one of us. If your gift is prophesying, then prophesy in accordance with your faith. If it is serving, then serve. If it is teaching, then teach. If it is to encourage, then give encouragement. If it is giving, then give generously. If it is to lead, do it diligently. If it is to show mercy, do it cheerfully. And although it's addressed to a very early church community, there's much good advice that's applicable to any organisation, including a council, I think. It's all about a diverse group of people working together for the good of the whole community, with humility and respect for each other. Isn't that what everyone's here for? To work together for the good of all our residents. During Ian Devonshire's years chairman, it's been good to see that a variety of faith leaders have come to these meetings too. It's a demonstration of what a diverse, welcoming community that East Hertfordshire really is. So with a greater diversity of approach to issues from the parties represented here, it's my prayer that everyone here will be able to work well together with humility and respect for one another. So let us pray. We give you thanks, Lord, for our district council, for all who serve as councillors, those new to the council, those continuing, and those who no longer serve as councillors. And we give you thanks for the dedicated service of our chairman Ian Devonshire over this last year. We pray for all who bear the responsibility of serving in this council, and for all the council officers who support them. Enable them to be thoughtful and wise in all the decisions they make. Help them to work well together with humility and respect for one another. May the decisions of our council promote the well-being of all our communities, and may the most vulnerable members of these communities be supported and helped to live fulfilled lives. We ask this through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you. Please be seated. I would like to welcome everyone to tonight's meeting. I would remind you all that tonight's meeting is being webcast, so members, please ensure that you speak into the microphone so that you can be heard on the webcast. We're going to start tonight with an annual report video. Okay, thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank Stephen, not just for tonight, but for all the other meetings that you've kindly attended for me and done the opening welcome. And also for conducting my civic centre and my civic service, which, believe it or not, was way back in July last year. Thank you. I've thoroughly enjoyed my year, and it has been a real honour to represent East Hertfordshire at so many events. During my year, we celebrated the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, saw the very sad passing of Queen Elizabeth, proclaimed our new king, and just the other week saw and celebrated the King's coronation. I've met some truly amazing and inspirational people, many in various ceremonial and political roles, the Lord Lieutenant, the High Sheriff, and other mayors and chairs, but much more importantly than those, the unsung heroes. The volunteers who help others week in, week out, support charities, or raise money for various causes. They are always very humble people, and very often they don't believe they are doing anything special. But without these people, our community will be very, very much poorer. I would like to thank the council officers and the senior management team for all of their help and support, especially Lindsay Creed and the comms team, James Ellis and Katie Mogan in our democratic services team, my PA Esther Piper, and my vice chairman Rosemary Bolton, who I am extremely pleased to see is here tonight in the members gallery. Thank you, Rosemary. Between Rosemary and myself, we attended nearly 150 events over the past year. And finally, I'd like to thank my family, my wife Pearl, and my children who have all helped out at my various charity events. These charity events were held at the Henry Moore Foundation and in the garden of Gordon and Mary Morrison, and I thank them all for allowing me the use of these venues. In total, over the year, I have raised £3,496 for my charity, which is the Stroke Association. I now want to show you a little video of all the places I've been to this year. Sorry, there wasn't any funky music on mine. That just gives you a flavour of what it's like to be chairman, so good luck. Right, apologies for absence. Oh, sorry, Councillor Deering, sorry.
If I may, Chairman, and with the permission of everyone in the room, could I just offer our thanks to you, Ian, for a fantastic year. You've almost become a member of the royal family in the year, haven't you? But of course, within that, you've had some wonderful things to celebrate and some very sad moments. And you've conducted yourself, I think, superbly, and you've represented this council extremely well. I was also extremely pleased to hear you make reference to the residents of East Hertfordshire, the volunteers we have, nearly all of whom don't think they're doing anything special. And they are special people, and that's why we're all in this chamber tonight. We're trying to help them, and you've done a great job. So thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Deering. That means a lot. Thank you. Right, we'll move on. Apologies for absence. Thank you.
Yeah, we've received one apology for absence from Councillor Britton.
Thank you. Right, we now move on to the main business of the evening, the election of a chairman. Do we have any nominations? Yes, Councillor Christie.
Thank you. Thanks, Chair. I'd like to propose Councillor Martin Butcher, please. I think he would make an excellent chair.
Thank you. Can I have a seconder, please? Yes, Councillor Goldspink.
Thank you, Chair. I am very happy to second the nomination of Councillor Martin Butcher.
Lovely, thank you. Members, can we have a show of hands whether you're in favour or against, or whether you abstain? All those in favour? All those against? And any abstentions? Okay, thank you. That is carried. So Councillor Butcher, would you like to come forward and take the chairman's seat? Oh, sorry. Oh, to the left. Okay, thanks. Thanks.
I'm sorry. Totally wrong going. Let's read that out now.
Okay. So this is my declaration of acceptance of office. I, Martin Butcher, having been elected to the office of Chairman of East Hertfordshire District Council, declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. Right, so it's item 4, the election of a vice chairman for 2023-24. Do we have any nominations? Councillor Wilson.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to nominate Councillor Calvin Horner.
And do we have a seconder? Councillor Crystal.
Thanks, Chair. Yes, I'd like to second that nomination.
Thank you. Members, could we have a show of hands whether you're in favour, against, or whether you abstain? All those in favour? Thank you. All those against? Thank you. And any abstentions? Okay. So Councillor Horner is elected as Vice Chairman. To read that. So change it. Yes. Right, good, brother. Oh, we can certainly do that.
Okay, thank you. I will read my declaration of acceptance of office while we're waiting for that. I, Calvin Horner, having been elected to the office of Vice Chairman of East Hertfordshire District Council, declare that I will take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to my best judgment and ability. Okay, thank you. I would just like to thank members for electing me to this office. It is a very great honour, not one that I expected, and certainly not one that I expected so soon after my first being elected to this council. I look forward to supporting Councillor Butcher as chair and in his efforts of fundraising and in supporting the very varied and very valuable work that the people of East Hertfordshire and the voluntary organisations in this district take, because I think that is vitally important work. So thank you once again.
Thank you, Councillor Horner. So now, sorry, Councillor Goldsmith.
Yes. Oh, thank you, Chair. I was expecting you to make further chairman's announcements. Is that?
That's what I was just about
Yes,
to do.
yes, I'm sorry, I can speak up,
Yeah.
but so sorry.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sorry. So, yes, further chairman's announcements, which will be brief. I would echo Councillor Horner in saying that this is a position I did not expect to find myself in until a few days ago. It's an absolute honour and a privilege to be here. I look forward to working with all colleagues across the chamber in the coming year in the service of East Hertfordshire. The two charities that I've chosen for the coming year are CPRE Hertfordshire and the Community Alliance. Both organisations are absolutely key, I feel, to issues that confront us as a council and the residents of East Hertfordshire. So I think they will be an excellent couple of charities for which we can raise money and provide support this year. On a personal note, I would say I may be the first chair of this council who is neurodiverse. And as I was diagnosed a couple of years ago with ADHD, you may see me up here fiddling with fidget spinners and otherwise engaging my fingers, because that helps me to keep my brain engaged on the work of the council. So I'd beg your indulgence for that. And with that, I think we can continue to the rest of the agenda. Item 6, the election of the leader of the council for the coming year. Do we have any nominations? Councillor Goldsmith.
Thank you, Chair. But before we progress to that, as leader of one of the smaller groups on this council, may I offer you and the Vice Chairman my very warm congratulations on your elections. I wish you both a very happy and successful year of office. And I would also like to echo the words of Councillor Bob Deering when he spoke about the previous chairman. and to express my thanks to Councillor Devonshire for all that he did as chairman in the last year, and for the very good way in which he represented this council. So my thanks to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Councillor Deering.
I was going to say about my congratulations after the leader vote, but we'll do them one at a time. We send you our best wishes as well, both of you. It's a big job. You represent the whole of the district, and we wish you every success. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Okay, in which case we'll move to, seeing no other hands, we'll move to the, oh, sorry, Councillor Dar. Oh, I see. Go ahead. Councillor Dar, could you use your microphone because they can't hear you on YouTube?
I propose Councillor Ben Crystal for the position of leader of East Hertfordshire District Council.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Goldsmith.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, it gives me great pleasure to second the proposal that Councillor Ben Crystal should be the leader for the next civic year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll move to a vote, show of hands. Those in favour of Councillor Crystal as leader of the council. Thank you. Those against? Thank you. And any abstentions? Okay, so Councillor Crystal is duly elected as leader of the council. Councillor Deering. Since we're doing it one by one rather.
I was again going to wait until we have a deputy leader as well. And
Oh, well, let's do that. Let's do that then. Okay. So some, or no? Oh. Oh, sorry, we don't we appoint it yet. So, sorry, Councillor Deering, we don't elect a deputy leader. It's the deputy leader is appointed by the leader. So
that's absolutely fine. It's an evening for congratulations. So absolutely, our congratulations to you, Ben, and to you, Mione, for what you're going to do for this council in the next period of time. Just as Councillor Butcher has said, he maybe wasn't anticipating being in the chairman's position this evening. We weren't entirely anticipating being in this position this evening, but we wish you well. You will have noticed that we all voted for you. We think it's important that this council supports everyone as much as possible. We will support you where we can. So we will support you in the completion of Hartman Theatre. We'll support you in the completion of Old River Lane. We'll support you in the formulation of a new district plan, which is clearly essential to control the location and extended development in East Hertfordshire. But we will hold you to account. I'm entering my 9th year as a councillor. The Conservative administration hitherto has consistently delivered balanced budgets, and we will certainly expect balanced budgets going forward. But there's a mix and match there, so you have our support, but we will hold you to account. And good luck to you both. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Councillor Crystal, do you have announcements you would like to make?
Thank you very much, Chair. Firstly, thank you to Ian. I just wanted to say you've obviously had an incredible year, and well done for everything you've done for the district for the last year. Some great photos there, and great times, great memories. So thank you. Congratulations to the new chair and vice chair. I hope you have a lovely year, an enjoyable year, a positive experience, and I know you'll do us all proud. We look forward to seeing your activities and taking part. Thank you, Bob, for your kind words as well. That's appreciated. And thank you for electing me. I do really appreciate it. It's important for me to say that now, because I suspect in a few months I won't be thanking you. But seriously, this is an incredible honour for me to lead the council, and I will do my very best for officers and staff, for all of you here, and obviously for residents in East Herts. It's a huge responsibility. and I hope you will support me and our team in this work. And it's great to see lots of new faces here. Welcome to you all. We'll value your energy, your enthusiasm, your fresh thinking. And it's also, of course, a pleasure to see familiar faces back again. Welcome back to all of you. And I want to thank those councillors who served in the last administration who have either stood down or not been re-elected. I think it's very important that we recognise their service and thank them as well. So we've got plenty of challenges ahead of us. There's lots of hard work, and we're ready for that. But I want to take this opportunity to echo things that Stephen have said and also Bob. While we're all working hard for our communities, I expect us all to treat each other with the utmost respect, to treat officers and staff here, obviously, with utmost respect as well. At a time when many people have become disillusioned with councils and politics, we must lead by example. And I will always do my best, do my part to ensure that we are open, honest, and friendly here. Lastly, we must have no illusions. As Councillor Deering has mentioned, there are tough decisions ahead of all of us, but I'm confident that we can work together constructively and do our absolute best for our residents as they rightly expect. Thank you.
Councillor Goldsmith.
Thank you, Chair. Once more, as leader of one of the smaller groups on this council, may I offer the new leader of the council our very warm congratulations on his election. We wish him a very happy and successful term of office. I'd like to support everything which the new leader has said about appreciating the work of previous councillors, some of whom have not been re-elected this time. We may not have always agreed on policy, but we do acknowledge that they were sincere in their wish to serve the community of East Herts, and we do thank them very much. The Liberal Democrat group is also grateful to all the officers for their tireless work in ensuring the smooth running of this council, from running the local elections during the last few months to organising all the arrangements for this annual meeting tonight. Finally, as a group, we are grateful for the opportunity to serve on this council, and we look forward very much to working with fellow councillors in a respectful, collegiate and constructive manner. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. We now move on to the minutes of the meeting of the 1st of March 2023. We have those minutes before us. Councillor Goldsmith.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to propose that we accept these minutes as a true record of that meeting.
I was just going to ask if any members have any amendments to the minutes. That not being the case. Yes, do we have a seconder to? Oh, Councillor Redfern, thank you. So the minutes have been, members, the minutes have been proposed and seconded as presented. Can we have a show of hands, please, to indicate whether you support the motion to approve the minutes? Those four. Those against? And any abstentions?
May I ask for a point of order, please, Chairman?
Yes, Councillor Buckmaster, yes.
Yes, sorry, I know it'll take time. It was just a large number of people weren't here, so I was just wanted to ask the legal officer as to whether or not it should only be those who were present who were able to accept them.
I was anticipating that point of order. Realistically, if you weren't here, then it's very difficult for you to say whether it is an accurate record of what took place
on the 1st of March. So not ordinarily we would expect those members who are here to vote in favour and those who are not to probably abstain. That is what we would expect to happen normally in that circumstance. The vote has taken place. You can run it again if you wish, Chairman. It's within your gift.
Okay, let's just to get the form absolutely right. Let's do it again. So if you weren't here for the last council, then please either abstain or just keep your hands down. So those in favour of adopting the minutes or approving the minutes. Thank you. Those against? And those abstaining? Thank you very much. So the minutes as presented are approved. Thank you. Item 9, declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest this evening from members? No, thank you very much. Item 10, petitions. We have no petitions. Similarly, for item 11, we have no public questions. For item 12, no members' questions have been submitted. So that brings us to item 13, the political balance and committee membership of the council. And I invite the Head of Legal and Democratic Services to present the report.
Thank you, Chairman. At its annual meeting, Council is required to approve the decision-making arrangements for the discharge of functions. This includes being told by the leader about the composition and constitution of the executive for the ensuing year, the names of those members chosen to be executive members, and also determine the Council's committee structure and chairman membership of those committees in line with the political balance of the Council. The leader, having been appointed earlier this evening under agenda item 6, has made the executive appointments and determined the portfolio responsibilities as outlined in the supplementary agenda papers. Council is also asked to appoint the committees outlined as paragraph 2.1 of the report and the membership size contained within that table. The new political balance of the Council following the District Council elections and how those relate to committee places can be found as Appendix A on page 50 of the report. And the calendar of meetings for 2023-24 has already been published on the Council's website, and Council is invited to confirm the dates of its meetings as set out at paragraph 4.1 of the report. The appointment of members to outside bodies is delegated to the Head of Legal and Democratic Services in consultation with the leader, and these will be appointed following tonight's meeting. The recommendation to Council tonight can be found at pages 44 and 45. Unless any member wishes to vote for some recommendations whilst against others, I would suggest that they are taken en bloc. Thank you.
Sorry. Councillor McAndrew.
Yeah, thank you. Through you, Chair, the calendar, will they be populated for the members who's on each individual committee electronically?
Yes, they will be.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, do we have a proposer for this report? Councillor Crystal.
I'd like to propose accepting the report. Thank you.
Councillor Gold.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to second that proposal.
Thank you very much. So we have a proposer and a seconder. Does any member wish to make a comment or to ask a question about this report? Oh, Councillor Thomas.
Sorry, I've just noticed my name has been spelt incorrectly, so if that could be changed, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Councillor Thomas. Any other member? Seeing none, sorry. Yes, there are 8 recommendations in the report A to H on pages 44 and 45, the agenda pack. I will ask you to vote on these as a block. Could you raise your hands to indicate whether you are in favour of adopting the report? Thank you very much. And any against? Thank you. And any abstentions? No. Thank you very much. That report is adopted. Item 14, the annual scrutiny report. Oh, sorry, Councillor Townsend, go ahead.
Yes, by way of both an apology, but also a realisation that I made an error when we voted on the minutes of the meeting for March the 1st. I actually voted for it. However, I realised I was not actually present at that meeting, so you would need to amend the numbers. Thank you.
Yes, we can do that, Councillor Townsend. Thank you. The annual scrutiny report of 2022-23, pages 51 to 64 on your agenda. I'd like to invite Councillor Wiley, previous chair of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee, to present the report.
Thank you, Chairman. It gives me great pleasure in presenting the annual scrutiny report for 22-23, which is attached to the minutes. Thank you.
Would you like to propose that we adopt the report, Councillor?
I'm happy to propose that, Chair.
Thank you. And I believe Councillor Wilson.
Yes, I'm happy to second that proposal. I'd just like to take the opportunity as well to thank Councillor Wiley for his excellent service over 4 years as the chair of that committee, which I was a member more latterly.
Right, the report being proposed and seconded. Does any member wish to comment or ask a question about the report? No. Seeing no one, there are two recommendations in the report, A and B, on page 51 of the agenda. I will ask you again to vote for those together. Members, if you could raise your hands if you are in favour of adopting these recommendations. Thank you. Any against? And any abstentions? Thank you very much. Those recommendations are adopted, and from the chair, I will also thank Councillor Wiley for his chairing of that committee for the past 4 years. Item 15, the independent members of the Audit and Governance Committee, pages 65 to 87 of your agenda. I invite the Head of Legal and Democratic Services to present the report.
Thank you, Chair. This report provides members with information on the appointment of 2 independent people to the Audit and Governance Committee as recommended by the Chartered Institute of Public Finance and Accountancy, CIPFA. As a result of the Redmond Review in 2020, which considered the effectiveness of external audits and the transparency of financial reporting in local authorities, it was recommended that local authority audit committees should appoint at least 1 independent member. As can be seen in paragraph 3.2 of the report, this was endorsed by the government in June 2022, and later CIPFA, who issued guidance, recommended that local authorities and police audit committees include at least 2 independent members. Who should fulfil the roles of independent people is contained at paragraph 3.4 of the report, and it's proposed that recruitment be in a competitive basis following the Council's rules and procedures. The options open to members are contained at paragraph 4, whilst the risks are at paragraph 5. The Audit and Governance Committee recommended to Council at its meeting of the 12th of April 2023 that 2 independent members should be appointed to it. The recommendations to Council are contained at page 65 of the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have a proposer for the report? Councillor Dumont.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to propose this item. I think it's a very sensible way forward for the council. I'm looking forward to us getting, or having to make a hard decision because we get lots of candidates come forward in the very near future.
Thank you very much. I believe Councillor Dahl will second the proposal.
Yes, I'd like to second this proposal. Thank you, Chair.
Does any member wish to comment or ask a question? Councillor Boylan.
Thank you, Chairman. Whilst myself and everybody else in this chamber very much welcomes the introduction of an independent member or members being appointed to audit committees across the country, providing us with a even more scrutiny of public sector finance. I just had one question, and that was around the remuneration rate. How did we arrive at the rate of remuneration? It's not inexpensive. They meet 4 times a year, and that equates to £625 per meeting per independent member. And I just wondered whether any benchmarking had been done to arrive at that sum.
Thank you, Councillor Boylan. Yes, some benchmarking had taken place. We also already have one independent person for standards purposes. So that rate was also taken into consideration when reaching the levels for these independent people as well.
Thank you, Chairman.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none. There are 2 recommendations, A and B, on page 65 of the agenda pack. Members, could you raise your hands to indicate whether you are in favour of adopting these recommendations? Thank you. And against? And any abstentions? Those recommendations are carried. Thank you. Item 16. Consideration of the results of the Hackney Carriage unmet demand survey. That's pages 88 to 95 in your agenda pack. I invite the previous chairman of the licensing committee, Councillor David Andrews, to present the report.
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, indeed, as an immediate past chairman of the licensing committee, I've put a few words together. I should be able to keep it down to about 25 minutes, all being well. Members will probably be aware that in East Herts we license 2 types of vehicles for carrying passengers. The Hackney carriage, which is what we probably think of as a taxi, which can be hailed in the street and can work from our and other ranks with absolutely no requirement for a pre-booking. And the other type are private hire vehicles, which we probably would refer to in the pub as minicabs. They have to be pre-booked through an operator. And this report relates to Hackney carriages, purely Hackney carriages, not the minicab stroke private hire. And the legislation currently allows an authority to limit the number of Hackney carriages that it licenses, assuming that there's no significant unmet demand. Then if there is unmet demand, we are in a position to address that and increase the number of licenses issued. We last looked at it in depth in 2019 with a survey which indicated there was then no significant unmet demand, but a more recent survey has indicated that there is. We had set a limit of 200 Hackney carriage plates, as this was the number of vehicles that seemed appropriate to satisfy the demand at that time, 2019. The Department for Transport Best Practice Guidance recommends that where a restriction is in place, it should be re-evaluated every 3 years or so. So this is what we have done more recently. At the end of 2022, the new survey was commissioned. It did identify unmet demand, and a number of contributing factors were identified, which we will, and we have been considering and will be dealt with at some stage. They're in the report at para 22. It's clear that increasing the vehicle numbers is just one one step towards addressing this unmet demand. The results of the survey and feedback from the trade and the public were considered by the licensing committee and the executive member for planning and growth. And the conclusion was to recommend increasing the number of factory carriages by 10, which represents 5%. Increasing the number of factory carriages licensed by starts to 210. Demand will be monitored to ensure that these steps will have a positive effect, and vehicles will continue to meet the authority's current vehicle age and emissions policy, and wherever possible, full wheelchair access and electric vehicles are encouraged. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. And I believe, Councillor Andrews, you're going to propose that we adopt these recommendations.
I'm happy so to do, Chairman, with your blessing. The recommendation is on page 88, and that is the number of factory carriages license issued by East Lancs Council should be increased by 10 over the number currently issued, bringing the total to 210. And I'm happy to propose.
Thank you very much. And I believe Councillor Wilson.
Yeah, I'm very happy to second this proposal. I do want to speak briefly on it as well, partly because this will be a bit of a wrench to me, to be honest, leaving the licensing committee, albeit it is a bit of a busman's holiday for me, given my day job. I'd also like to thank Councillor Andrews for his excellent leadership and chairing of the committee. I very much enjoyed working with him for the 4 years. I wanted to speak, following on from what Councillor Andrews said, which I agreed with completely, that we have a nationwide shortage of taxi and private hire drivers and vehicles, which obviously impacts us like everybody else. But in particular, partly somewhat parochially, I am concerned about the local issue at Bishop Stortford train station, which was brought up in the committee, and I wanted to highlight to the members today. There is a real shortage very often at the train station. This is of course important because taxis are part of public transport and often for the most vulnerable people. So we need to be able to provide taxis for them. Unfortunately, we have a private rank only at the train station, and that's given in monopoly to a particular company that then charges an awful lot of money for the taxi drivers to use that rank, which then means they often don't use it. So we were looking at solutions such as getting a public rank next to the private rank. We discussed that in the committee at Bishop Stortford to try and alleviate this problem, which, although I agree with and agree with recommending this particular proposal, increasing numbers of taxis probably won't resolve this issue. So I hope the next committee can look into this, and perhaps we can get a new rank, maybe at the goods yard if that's possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wilson. So the motion for recommendation is proposed and seconded. Does any member wish to comment or ask a question? Oh, there being none, we will move to a vote. Could members raise their hands if they are in favour of this recommendation? Thank you. And against? And any abstentions? No. So that recommendation is carried. And as with Councillor Wiley, I'll from the chair thank Councillor Andrews for his service as chairman of the licensing committee. Thank you. Councillor Crystal.
Sorry, I just beg your indulgence for a moment. And I know a number of people have already raised this, but I think it would be worth pointing out again that we may not be waving the same coloured flags, but I wanted to add my thanks to you, Bob, for your chairing of DMC, to you, David, for your chairing of licensing, and John for your chairing of overview and scrutiny. I think that it's hard to appreciate how difficult those roles are unless you sit on the committee. And I think, you know, we recognise that you did those jobs very well. And so we do want to thank you for that.
Councillor Deering.
Thank you very much, Councillor Crystal and Councillor Bioni Goldspink for leading the applause there. Thank you very much. We much appreciate that. And in the spirit of congratulation, If I may, Chair, and with your indulgence, could I thank every member of the outgoing administration? Someone who is not in this room this evening is Linda Hazy, who led this council for 8 years, and I believe was a councillor here for getting on for 20 years. She put her life and soul into this council, and I think we owe her a great debt of gratitude. And I'd like to take the moment, as Councillor Crystal has already done, to thank every former councillor who is not here this evening, whether because they did not stand for re-election or because they were not re-elected. They've all served, and we should be very, very grateful to them. And since they've come up, I'd like to thank John, sitting behind me, who's done a great job chairing scrutiny. David, who's done a great job chairing licensing. Jeff Williams, sitting next to me, was in charge of the finances here, and that is not by any means an easy task. And we have delivered balanced budgets consistently year after year after year. If I might just say one specific thing, prompted by reference to licensing and hackney cabs, I was on the licensing committee for my first term here. And it would be fair to say that before I'd sat in it, I wasn't so sure it'd be very interesting. But actually it is, and it's crucial. And if I may, although I appreciate that many of you in the room will be aware of this, but one of the lessons you learn very, very quickly on licensing is that you will not be able to think of anywhere other than a mini cab that you would entrust a loved one to a complete stranger with locked doors. And the licensing committee here, under David's stewardship, has been scrupulous in ensuring that we have the highest standards of mini cab drivers and mini cabs. And I'd just like to take that moment to make everyone aware that it's a very significant responsibility, and we have protected the people of Hertfordshire for the last X years. So thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Deary. Item 17 on the agenda is motions on notice, and no motions have been submitted. So at only 5 to 8, I can say that we have concluded the business for tonight's meeting. I might just add one personal thanks to the thanks that Councillor Deering made, and that's to Ian Kemp, who sadly lost his seat at the election. But in the days since May the 4th has been extremely kind to me personally, in bringing me up to speed with ward business in Ware St Mary's, and in giving advice on becoming a member of this council for the first time. And that as a cross-party gesture has been much appreciated. So with that, I will declare tonight's meeting closed, and with a theatrical touch, I'm going to bang the gavel.